If gold is an issue, skip them. Why not? Skip all the summoning, skip all the gold. All that's left is just the grind, and you can do the grind. How the heck are you guys? My name is Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. I've got a good one for you today. I'm not gonna bury the lead. Boom. My community and I have spent over 3 hours leading up to this video on the lobby in my Discord server, the Fast and Fastidious, preparing this calendar, which I think is as perfect as we possibly could have made it. We are gonna show you immediately the fastest, the easiest, the most efficient way that you can get Luneria literally without breaking a sweat, literally without opening the wallet. It's gonna be so easy you won't even know what hit you. So what are we working with here? Well, you can see in the green we have the events, in the red we have the Oracle Trials or the tournaments. We're gonna break it all down day by day, highlighting all the best synergies, all the things you're gonna wanna do, all the things you're not gonna wanna do, and how to set yourself up for success. Before I go any further, I wanna quickly say, of course, if you come to my Discord, we can give you the high definition versions of this calendar you're looking at now, as well as a calendar only version if you don't want all these extra little graphics, the pretty little Luneria in the background. Okay, let's break it down, folks. What is the easiest way to get her? Well, as you can see here on the top, we have the events, the bottom we have the trials. I have added up the totals of the possible available shards you can get, not counting podium bonuses. If you look to the right of where it says available, where we have the available potential shards, you will see the podium bonuses that correspond to the different Oracle's trials. All these numbers, guys, have been given on the in-game calendar they provided. All these podiums are based off of the Soul Diffusion, as well as the points for max shards you can see over here, which we'll go over later in the video. That's all also based off of the Soul Diffusion. However, we have 65 available shards that you can get from the events. We have 45 you can get from Oracle's Trial without podiuming. So what is that up to? That adds up to 110 shards. You only need 75 shards to get one copy of Luneria. So that gives us some wiggle room. There are 35 shards we can leave on the table. So I've taken it upon myself with my community to find what are those 30 shards that you can easily leave on the table and make this just a walk in the park. So we have two things highlighted in yellow. I told you the green was for events, the red was for trials. However, yellow, while Spiritual Altar is an event, Arrival of Heroes is a trial. If you look at the description, there's something really special about them. And I want to highlight, actually, we have descriptions here because they have these weird titles: Corridor of Glory, Brave Conquest, Mystery of Artifacts. That one kind of makes sense. The Lost Legacy. So I've kind of translated it. So if you look at the description, it just very plainly says what you have to accomplish in those. So if we go back to the yellow, the Spiritual Altar and the Arrival of Heroes, we see there are hero summoning events. These tend to be kind of the cost gate, the things that can really get in your way, the hurdles you have to overcome, especially if you don't want to spend much money or you don't want to, bust the wallet open. That's the only way to really say it, right? Or I guess if you haven't planned like a crazy person, and a lot of us haven't because they only announced this event a couple days ago. Well, you can skip these guys. You can 100% completely skip them. Let's do some math. Spiritual Altar hero summoning, that is going to be 10 shards. Then Arrival of Heroes, another hero summoning, that is 15 shards. Added together, you've got 25 shards. What did I say you need? 75. What are the potential we could get from all of these without podiuming? 110. So subtract 25, we have 85 shards left on the table. So there's actually 10 more we can skip out on. So if you're hearing me right, guys, you can fuse her at 75 shards with 85 shards left over. You can choose 10 to skip, and that's after completely giving up and saying you don't want to do the Spiritual Altar hero summoning or the Arrival of Heroes hero summoning. You don't have to bust open a single summoning crystal and you'll be able to get her with still some wiggle room to skip some other events. I will do a quick caveat. For example, if you do want to choose between the two, the Arrival of Heroes is such the better choice. Now, why do I say that? Well, you get 15 shards from Arrival of Heroes, you get 10 from Spiritual Altar, but let's go all the way over here to the points you need for max shards. Of course, they're scored slightly differently, but to get the maximum shards from this event, from the Spiritual Altar, to get all 10, you need 3,290 points, 3,290 points. That's a lot of points, I'll tell you right now. For example, I opened over 100 shards last weekend when there wasn't a fusion event, there wasn't a shard event. However, there was a Spiritual Altar, and I think I only got about 16 or 1,700 points, and that was with over 100 shards opened. I had bad luck, but you gotta prepare for the worst case scenario, right? Then if we look at Arrival of Heroes, you get 15 shards, so 5 more, and the points for max are only 700. Like I said, it's counted slightly differently, but not that differently. This is the one you're gonna want to go for, and on top of that, we've got an amazing 10x and 2x this weekend coming in. The Champion Hot Set's gonna be available. That's not even to mention Cetrum. if you're gonna pull this coming weekend. Anyway, you can skip those 25 shards. There's still 10 more you can skip. So if gold is an issue, if you guys haven't seen, I've put out 2 recent gold videos breaking down exactly how expensive it is to max out these events, these gear enhancement events, also called the Tales of the Smith events. Well, you can skip both of them. You heard that right. You see, I've taken upon myself to number all the repeating events. So for example, we have Corridor of Glory 1, Corridor of Glory 2. We actually have 3 Brave Conquests, 1, 2, and 3. And then if you look at Trial of Smiths, you have Trial of Smiths 1, Tales of Smiths, and Tales of Smith 2. Well, they're 5 points each. I said there were 85 left and we only need 75. If gold is an issue, skip them. Why not? Skip all the summoning, skip all the gold. All that's left is just the grind, and you can do the grind. Spend those diamonds on energy, plan it out. We'll go through the calendar and specifics, but I told you I wasn't gonna bury the lead. Let's get right into it. How do you get her? Well, skip this hero summoning if you want it as easy as possible. If you want it easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Skip the hero summoning events, skip the spiritual altar, skip the arrival of heroes, and then skip both the Tales of the Smith event, both the forging events, both the gear enhancement events, and then you've got her. But let's break it down. You might go through other ways to get her, or you might be really ambitious and want to get 2 copies of her. So let's just go through the days. You see, we're gonna go from September 1st to September 18th. Sometimes things are lining up pretty nicely, so I wanted to point out some special synergies, and then at the end, I wanna go over points for max shards. But if we look for some synergies, we have one really good one right here. So if you guys don't know, Brave Conquest is probably the easiest event to beat in this game. I'll show you here, Brave Conquest 1, that's gonna start on September 1st. Brave Conquest 2 is going to start on September 6th. Brave Conquest 3 is going to start on September the 11th. You can get points for that in 2 different ways, and you only need 2430 points, 2,430 points. I'm telling you that's not that much. So how do you get it? You can either collect gear, so by doing the gear raids, gear raid 1, 2, or 3, or you can collect artifacts, so artifact materials from the artifact material raid. So it's pretty easy to find synergies in these things, guys. Brave Conquest 1, look, lines up perfectly with Vault in the Sand. If you just complete the Vault of the Sands event, you're gonna wanna do it anyway. It's a Gear Raid 2 collection event. I love Gear Raid 2. Let's get some nice accessories. Just focus on that and you'll have cleared the Brave Conquest. Don't do any artifact farming. Save that for exactly when it ends. 1 day later, you're gonna get the Mystery of Artifact. Be patient, don't do it on the 5th. Wait till the 6th. Just grind that for a day or 2. Look, you've just completed Brave Conquest 2. You guys can see how I stacked it up here to try to make it as visual and as simple as possible. Let's just use one more example. We have Brave Conquest 3. Well, would you look at that? If you can hold off on the first 2 days of doing the Lost Legacy, also known as the Gear Raid 1 event, you're gonna have 2 perfectly lined up days of synergy, so September the 11th and September the 12th, to complete the Brave Conquest by just farming 2 nice days of Gear Raid 1. It's really that simple, guys. There's other things you can prepare for. If you do want to do the Tales of the Smith events, save up some gold. If you want to do Corridor of Glory, which is the one I suggest you do, especially if you're an earlier account, you should be worrying about maxing out some of those heroes. Get your strong heroes up to 6 stars. Get them up to 6 stars of promotion. Go for Corridor of Glory 1. That's hero training. Go for Corridor of Glory 2, and then smack in between. We actually have a 3rd hero training event, as you can see, Awakening of Heroes. That's going to come on September the 8th. Invest in those. And guys, keep amenable. You know, you can find ways to get 75 shards pretty easily. I'm telling you, the easiest path is just take your foot off the gas. Don't go for the hero summoning. Don't go for the gold. Don't go for the gear enhancement. But if you want to go for some of that, that just means there's more shards from other places you can leave on the table. Or, bringing us to our last point, are you going to try to get 2 copies of it? Now, what are you saying, Fastidious? There's only 110 shards available on the board. Incorrect, right? There's only 110 shards that you can get without winning tournaments, or what I like to call podiuming on them. That is hard to say. However, if you do, and by podium I mean you get 1st place, 2nd place, or 3rd place, you have these shards over here available to you. So what am I talking about? For actually all the events, or excuse me, all the Oracle's trials, all the tournaments except for Mystery of Artifacts, you can get 5 extra shards for 3rd place, 7 extra shards for 2nd place, and 10 extra shards by placing 1st. For some reason, Mystery of Artifacts, at least with the Assault Diffusion, again, we've taken the assumption these will be the same numbers as the Assault Diffusion. You can only get 2, 5, and then 8 respectively from 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. But you can just quickly do your own math there. So you can get 110 shards by just completing everything. And if you're gonna go for 2 copies, you have to do that. And then you have 40 more shards you have to get. Because like I said, Diffuse Luneria is 75 shards. If you want 2, it's 75 times 2, you need 150 shards. So So you have 110. How do you get the other 40? Well, you've got 6 different Oracle's trials you can compete in. Except for the Mystery of Artifacts, if you win 4 of them, there you go. You got a second. That might be hard though. Well, you can place second in all of them, and you got her. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 35, and then get second here in the Mystery Artifacts. Now you've got a Luneria. It's pretty hard. It's gonna take a lot of luck of the draw. You can be in some crazy brackets. I do not suggest going for this, but if things start lining up your way and you were gonna grind really hard anyway, like personally, I know guys, except for probably the spiritual altar, which maybe I'll only get 5 shards from, I'm probably gonna get 105 shards. Not 110, I'll probably miss out on those 5. I'll go really hard. So if I get crazy lucky, will I go for a second copy? Of course, but don't break the bank, don't go nuts unless you want to. So speaking of breaking the bank, at least with the Assault Diffusion, you could buy extra shards. I just got a subscriber in the background. You could buy extra shards from the shop. I don't know what the prices were, unfortunately. That's not my scene. But if you're at 130, 140, and you have the money to do it, feel free to buy little extra copies. So that's a good transition into actually talking about why you would want to get this champion. I actually have her on my account, as you can see. But before we do so, I just want to quickly, I'm not going to read them all to you, but over here we have points for max shards. It is worth noting in some of these events, for example, like the Corridor of Glory, you will get, I believe, at 1650, if I'm getting that number right. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know in the comments. But at an earlier point in the event, you get the first 5 shards, and then to get the next 5, that comes at 4,400 points. So what I'm highlighting here is these are the points you need to get the maximum offered from that event or from that trial. They can come in increments. Again, this is the case, I believe, with Brave Conquests 1, 2, and 3. However, at least it was with Isolde. However, if you're gonna go for it, probably just go for it. Those are not the places you wanna leave it on the table. You can adjust accordingly as those things come out, but I just wanna make it as clear as possible. I really hope that this calendar did the trick. So, to wrap up, who is this chick we're even talking about? Well, she is crazy, crazy cool. Let me slide myself up back to the corner. I am gonna have a very good, I hope, very good, very detailed, very thorough guide on Luneria, very much in the style of the Lightlock guide I put out. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out to get a feel, or you can just wait 3 or 4 days for when my official, amazing, I hope, Luneria guide comes out. But just to quickly go into why everyone's going nuts for her, it's the Lord skill. There is no rare Piercer Lord. It starts at Luneria, the epic. You could get a Racha, the legendary, but getting a legendary Lord, as we know, is about as hard as finding a needle in the haystack. So, here's a free chance, and I told you it is easy peasy lemon squeezy to get this girl if you follow my steps. You can get a Lord who might have the most overpowered faction bonus in the game. So increases faction allies' basic attributes by 10%. That is the complete standard with epic Lords. However, faction allies' attack ranges are increased also. Now, what does that mean? Let's quickly pull up Nyx. She's the best piercer I have on my account. Not counting Luneria and her Lord skills. So if we just go here to attributes and then we go to details, you can see her range here. So what is her range? She's standing on this white square, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 deep with a 5th one in the middle. Well, if you deploy Luneria as the Lord, you don't even have to use her, just bring her into battle in the Lord slot. This isn't gonna go 4 deep with a 5th bonus, this is gonna go 5 deep with a 6th bonus. That extra row is crazy. For a Gear Raid 3, crazy. If you're still struggling with Marksman promotion, crazy. For so many content, whenever you have aerial units or light armor units where you need to bring your Marksman, Luneria, or if you have Haracha, but having a Piercer Lord is insanely game-changing. So that already covers it for her Lord skill, and that is what makes her so special. However, you can see I've nearly max skilled her up. I was waiting for this video. Let's max skill her up right now. So you can tell if I'm max skilling her up, I'm using her for a little more than just her Lord bonus. I really like this champion, right? So let's just start with the basic attack. Her kit's a little complicated. It's built around the skill Dark Moon Arrow. And like I said, I'm gonna go kind of fast here because I do have a full comprehensive guide coming out in just a couple days. But she's gonna deal 75% magic damage to enemies, but airborne units take more damage. So if you're familiar with the game and familiar with piercers, you might think magic damage. Piercers do piercing damage. Yeah, that's weird. It's really weird that she does it. However, her kit kind of makes up for it. If you're unfamiliar, piercing is good against light armor, which is what most aerial units have, whereas magic is good against heavy armor. But what's cool about Luneria, she's kind of good against both. It doesn't say it explicitly, or at least break it down, but this airborne units take more damage kind of does come out to the extra damage that you would get from piercing damage attacking light armor units. And like I said, the aerial units are light armor units. So you can get 110% damage once you skill her up to one enemy. Airborne units are prioritized. Again, that's pretty similar with piercers taking extra damage. 25% chance of triggering dark moon arrows, which again has some nice splash damage to enemies. And again, even more extra damage to aerial units. This scales based on the target's distance, based on your distance from the target. And again, Luneria, she's a piercer, so she gives herself the same boost. So she's got the same thing as Nyx, the same range, the 3x4, but not without the extra in the middle. So now it becomes a 3x5. So that skill gets just that much more powerful. If we go to the passive, Dark Moon Arrow marks the enemy for 10 seconds. This is very cool. And keep in mind, I'm reading the fully skilled up ones because mine is skilled up. Stacking up to 5 times. Those extra stacks are very, very nice. Or excuse me, the extra damage on the stacks. And each stack of mark increases damage by 8%. So that's damage by any of your units. So she's helping your other units. She's kind of being a support in that way, facilitating them to put out more DPS. Finally, Dark Moon Salvo. Her whole kit kind of works together again around this Dark Moon Arrow. Convenes the power of the Dark Moon, shooting 5 Dark Moon arrows to a single target rapidly. Restores an extra 100 rage if the target's killed. So she's getting rage. The Dark Moon arrows, again, hitting these arrow units. You got to mention the talent with each Dark Moon arrow when they're triggered. She's getting more rage. So it's just kind of this vicious cycle of her getting rage, popping off the ultimate, putting out more, that gives her more rage, popping off the ultimate, She's really good. I will quickly say, she's very cool at Awakened 1, and I was also waiting to do this in the video. Guys, if you're gonna awaken champions and you like a Lord, they're the rarest kind of epics you can get in the game. I'm gonna awaken her. I've been waiting to do this. There you have it, and I'll quickly just explain why I awakened her, and then we will wrap up the video. Well, increases attack speed by 30 for 6 seconds upon triggering Dark Moon Arrow. We've gone over Dark Moon Arrow, and the same thing happens as well on the basic. So on the ultimate now, and on the basic, when you trigger Dark Moon Arrows, not only are you getting the extra benefits you already had from the ultimate, which is, from the talent, I lost myself there. So when it's triggered for the talent, you get extra rage, so more ultimates, but now you're getting extra attack speed. What does attack speed do? You get more hits, so more DPS, but the more time you're attacking units, the quicker you're regenerating rage. So again, it's like this compounding little cyclone of this crazy, crazy lady. I think that's the perfect way to wrap it up. I hope you are as excited as I am, and I hope you enjoyed the calendar. Please, again, feel free to hit me up on my Discord, the Fast and Fastidious. Either me or one of my moderators will make sure you get it. Put a lot of work into it, so please let me know in the comments if this helped you. If you liked it, give this video a like. If you want to subscribe to me, I suggest you do it. If you want to share this with your mom, why not? Without further ado, I've been Fastidious. I'll see you in the next one.
Fastidious.